Good morning, Brother James, Mr. O'Toole, the Board of Trustees, the Golden Explorer class of 1964, members of LaSalle's administration and faculty, friends, parents, and of course, the class of 2014. Thank you. If you will all oblige me, I wanted to begin my speech today with a story about football. I thought it was only appropriate because when you think about Dan Spinelli, the first image that hits your mind is probably a physically intense, grueling athletic activity. But, ironically enough, my experience with football serves as an interesting parallel to our time at LaSalle. As a freshman in my first week of school, I signed up for a bus trip to Bergen, New Jersey, to see the football team play Bergen Catholic. I rode the bus with the members of the band, and quite honestly, I felt a bit out of my element. To my knowledge, there were no other freshmen on the bus, especially one who wasn't a member of the band. When we arrived in Bergen, I sat with the band and began taking notes. Unbeknownst to them, I was preparing to write my first article to cover LaSalle for TedSolari.com, a local website covering high school sports. Surprisingly, the band began helping me. When I missed the number of a player who scored, they would tell me. And when I was too busy taking notes to see what happened in a play, they told me what had occurred. Without even realizing it, the band guys made me feel at ease and erased my nervousness. I felt invigorated with a love of LaSalle sports and looked forward to ingratiating myself as a reporter for the next 4 years. Now, the freshman me may have anticipated a high school infatuation with LaSalle sports, but I don't think he would have expected what occurred on an unassuming August afternoon right before the start of senior year. I received a phone call from Mr. Donahoe asking me to join him as a contestant on the game show Philly Feud. So on the first day of the school year, I joined Mr. Donahoe and competed on the show in South Philly. My unlikely involvement in a sports game show speaks to the strange and powerful transformation we have undergone as LaSalle students. The media embraces high school cliches. There's the jocks, the play kids, the nerds, and the slackers. Once you earn a label, you better give up any chance of removing it. At LaSalle, we reject this superficial and incomplete way of viewing a person. We embrace a person's particular talents and cheer them on. Perhaps the reason for this philosophy comes from our mascot, the Explorer. The poet T.S. Eliot once said that we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Because of the careful way we have been prodded to look closer and see deeper, we know that no one label can classify each member of our grade. The timid writer I was in freshman year became the game show contestant of senior year. High school is a constant journey of discovery about us. So, where does this journey begin? For most of us, it happened over in Allenson House when we met Brother James Rick, then the director of admissions. Whether we hated our elementary school or never wanted to leave it, we immediately saw the possibility of reinventing ourselves at LaSalle. The expanded amount of opportunities that exist in high school enraptured us as naive 8th graders. The nerd or jock we were in grade school would not have to be the person we exited LaSalle as 4 years later. So, we all entered LaSalle and experimented with different activities. I tried many different activities, finding out where I belonged and where I did not. And I was shocked to see distinct similarities covering every facet of LaSalle, from the athletics teams to the service program. During my brief stay on the cross-country team, I witnessed Coach Bielecki and his assistant coaches spend as much time on the slowest kids, myself included, as they did on the fastest kids. On the speech and debate team, I stood in awe as Mr. Shea, Mr. McCabe, and the assistant coaches gave up their weekends to attend tournaments from September until June. And in the summer, I saw Mr. Dominic, Mr. Clark, and a slew of faculty volunteers rush from service trip to service trip as most of the student body joined them in serving the community. Finally, I narrowed my interest down. I decided to only remain a member of the speech and debate team, WXP, the Wisterian, the National Honor Society, LSA Tutoring, the Creative Writing Club, the basketball program as a manager, and a blogger for LaSalle Sports. While admittedly, I may have overwhelmed myself a bit in the extracurricular department, I do not regret joining any of these activities, primarily because I learned new things about each of my classmates. I came into contact with so many different classmates and began to see deeper into their true personalities. As I looked deeper than my classmates' surface appearances, I discovered something incredible. My classmates were doing the same. During an incredible 8 days at Diamond Ridge this fall, I listened to vivid and passionate stories from my classmates who spoke with compassion about their families and friends. Perhaps the most sincere and heartbreaking stories I heard were the ones about Mike Detweiler, someone whom I never truly knew at LaSalle, but whose impact among my classmates is immeasurable. Over and over again, his name came up as we discussed how someone at our age could fight with such strength against a terrible disease. His memory is kept alive for me through the words of my classmates, whose lives he so poignantly touched and continues to touch today. Kairos was the perfect capstone to this exploration that T.S. Eliot speaks about. Maybe, as you talked with your classmates at Diamond Ridge, you knew most of them very well, but you didn't know what struggles they have had, what obstacles they have overcome, or how we refer to it, their story. You were given a chance to show your real self, or perhaps a chance to see yourself in the mirror and recognize it for the first time. Like other LaSallian educated men before you, you may have entered LaSalle a boy and now exited a gentleman, or you may have entered to learn and now leave to serve. Whatever your transformation may have been, please know that it was not a singular experience. So I ask all of you, take a look around and notice the person next to you, in front of you, and behind you. That person may be your best friend, or he may be someone you have noticed just now for the first time. The incredible thing about our experience is that no matter your relationship with this person near you, you both share a communal bond. You have tutored inner city kids together, rejoiced for snow days together, and cried over Mrs. Nedzwecki's math test together. But guys, no matter if you are friends with 2 LaSalle kids or 200, the bond we share is undeniable and unbreakable. And as Mike Detweiler has shown us, it is a bond that transcends absolutely anything. Brother James Butler told us at our orientation this August that we would truly uncover the meaning of the word bittersweet as we graduate today. In my efforts to find an antidote of sorts to feeling bittersweet, I was struck by a simple but strikingly powerful quotation. The most beautiful discovery that 2 friends can make is that they can grow separately without growing apart. It is a sad truth that for most of us, the journey of growing up together ends today. While our natural reaction to this fact is sadness, we must remember that though our interactions may end, the innumerable influences we have all had on each other never go away. Though we may grow apart, we do not forget. Guys, we know that our path is forward, but that does not mean we have to neglect the memories we share at LaSalle. I may forget in which way Elizabeth acted like a lion and in which way she acted like a fox, but I will never forget the passion and intelligence that Mr. Kalistra infused into our European history and economics class. Give it up for Mr. Kalistra, come on. In a similar manner, my knowledge of U.S. history may wane, but I do not think anyone could say, "go placidly," without me immediately thinking of the words, "amidst the noise and haste," as Mr. Fitzgerald would say at the beginning of every month. And of course, I could never see an image of Santa Claus without thinking about Mr. Chesnick's prayer class, where we all learn to see good old Santa in a new light. Perhaps most importantly, you guys have helped me see what kind of person I have become. As I look out into this crowd, I see kids who have supported me and praised me when they think I've done something right. And I see kids who have earnestly said to me, Dan, you've done something wrong here, or I don't agree with your decision here. In the curious mechanism that fate uses to draw us together, you have all helped shape me and shape each other. Thanks to our interactions as a class, none of us looks in the mirror and sees the same person that we saw 4 years ago. Our journey of self-exploration is undeniably assisted by the influence of our classmates. Next year, please keep in mind the empowering effect of social interaction. Remember the incredible friendships you have formed here at LaSalle, and use them as a model to form new relationships in college and beyond. Be aware that your classmates and peers will have a profound impact on you. You may enter college a writer and graduate a game show contestant. Or you may be inspired to take a new path in your life, abandoning the plan you have always had. Most importantly, remember that along this crazy journey of self-exploration, we will continually surprise ourselves. Perhaps it is only fitting that I began a speech about self-exploration by mentioning football. In football, no one individual can directly determine the game's outcome, as if I would know. Too many variables affect the game's outcome, making any victory in football a truly concerted effort. Such is how it goes with the person we develop into. In life, you are but a menagerie of not only your own qualities, but those of the people you have met and have yet to meet. How blessed we are to spend 4 years at a school where the qualities of the people around us, faith, intellect, integrity, and service, are commensurate to a good life. Thank you all, and congratulations. Please stand and greet our celebrant, Father Janton, and his con-celebrants by singing the entrance hymn. Thank you.